you know what? If I could make love to every cool girl in the world, I would. And the regret of my life is that I just don't have the logistics and resources to achieve it.
It's impossible.
So I just accept
billions of people on the planet.
So I'm not Genghis Khan, and I just accept that I take what the universe allots me, and I'm thankful for what I get. I'm thankful for what I get.
Adequate.
Yeah, it is. But you know, you spend so much time trying to hook up with a girl, and then you're gonna go behind her back after you hooked up with her and call her a slut or a hoe. I mean, I can understand if like your girlfriend cheats on you and you're furious in that instance, but
that's reserved for that.
Never say it just to describe a girl that you fooled around with or hooked up with. It makes the girl feel
the guy
bad.
talking about, man, the girl's a slam pig.
Yeah, it's no good, dude. It makes all the other guys like think it's okay, and then they start talking like that, and then they're gonna like try to hook up with her even though they don't like her.
I wish you could go back and be like, don't talk like that.
I did. I'd be like, I used to say, I never said that stuff. So
Sure,
you gotta replace those words
to me,
with
I'm
positive
the other
words. You gotta positively reinforce someone, right? Like if a girl just gave you like the best blowjob of your life, you gotta be like, and I say this stuff all the time. I'll look him right in the eye. I'll be like, man, that was just terrific. Like, you did an excellent job. Reality.
UFOs.
Science.
Consciousness.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That might not be a real thing. The podcast. Three.
Hey, welcome back to the show, everyone. If you're tuning in for the first time, this is That Might Not Be a Real Thing, the podcast. If you're one of our regular listeners, thanks for coming back and listening in to us. Welcome back to the Resistance. It's really not tuning in anymore, huh?
It's not tuning in anymore.
We're not tuning into
There's no tune button.
There's no frequency we're tuning into that we know of. It's you listen to it on some sort of platform, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Thanks for tuning in.
They still say it. It's still a viable to say.
Exactly.
I haven't deleted it from the memory card, and we'll have to listen to it off air, but we may have just experienced a paranormal activity.
Yeah, it was a ghost.
We started the recording, and within just a few seconds, we all heard a loud, and we're wearing headphones, really, that block out most noise that's not on.
So it came through the mic.
Yeah. We all just heard a voice yell out.
I think it was an EVP.
And we don't know what.
We don't know what it was.
Electronic voice phenomenon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Could you...
It's how you pick up ghostly sounds using white noise. Sometimes microphones and things like this pick them up too.
I would say that's what just happened.
Something
exactly
weird
what happened.
Just fucking happened. But anyway, welcome back to the show.
It was a woman.
It was definitely a woman.
While we're on the subject of tuning in, thanks for subscribing, liking, all that other stuff. If you like our show, don't be afraid to share it with people that you also think might like the show. And we did film, I don't know if there were 7 productions, but we got several variations of Dan D doing the pelvic thrust on our Instagram.
Listen, if you share this with 10 people, I will come out to your kid's birthday party and do that.
All right.
10
I
people.
like that.
10 people.
How are we keeping track of the metrics?
It's the honor system.
We got to do Instagram follows.
Yeah.
So
any Instagram follows, I will come out and do that for your kid's birthday party.
Follow us on the pelvic thrust.
Pelvic thrust, yeah.
You want to show up to like a 7-year-old birthday party,
yes.
Get up there, do a couple of these pelvic things,
yeah,
and then drop the mic and walk off.
It's mostly for the moms.
Yes.
Will you do like a mime act like Owen Wilson and Starsky and Hutch? Like they have no idea what they're doing. He's like, I might do the box one more time. That's funny. I love that fucking movie.
It's not much of a show. I mean, doing the pelvic thrust, I can only do it for so long.
No, it's nice to the compilations that Matt could put together were great.
Yeah, I like the music with them.
And so thanks for listening. Pass the word around that we're out. Website in the works where we will get some T-shirts and
I'm slowly working on everything.
Yeah, and we're gonna get the painting that is our cover art. You can get that as a print. We may autograph some of them.
There we go.
do like an exclusive giveaway for Instagram follows or something on a certain day, right?
Yep.
There's all kinds of exciting things. We like to keep tricks up our sleeves. But today we are going to circle back up into something that's right in the title, and that's sex, drugs, and rock and roll, specifically the rock and roll.
Yeah, we're going to do a specific portion of rock and roll, though. As they call it, glam or hair metal from the 80s.
We weren't all on exactly the same page. So Mac is going to give us a couple of definitions from the internet. You're going to throw out your definitions. But I had said, let's do top 5 best hair bands. And we're all kind of, I think, on a different page.
Because a lot of rock and roll bands have long hair. This is death metal bands have long hair. I'm saying this is hair metal, which is glam metal, which is, 80s. Like
it is mostly 80s.
80s riffs. And I mean, it came from the 70s, but like everything comes from like the decade before. So
yeah, music.
Influence, yeah.
Passes, even Mozart and the classical shit gets sometimes mashed up into like, rock beats, and it sounds good.
I think people shit on glam metal a lot, but it was a rebellious thing. Like we don't, fuck your masculinity. We're gonna make up and we're gonna fuck chicks. Yeah.
So
like we're gonna do both of them. Like so, fuck yourself, you bunch of fucking jocks.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
There were a lot of skinny dudes too.
A lot of skinny dudes.
And we've seen a lot of them in concert. My list, I came up my list easy, and it might not make the qualifications, but just so everyone's on the same page, in my mind. Hair bands really started like late 70s and ran into the early 90s. So let's say like 78 to 92. We'll give it like a 14
even
year
when Nirvana
window.
was getting big and stuff, there were still hair bands that were doing great. Yeah. I mean, Warrant came out with Cherry Pie in the early 90s. Like Motley Crue was still making albums. Like
Cherry Pie is like a fucking classic.
Yep. So that came out when we were already buying grunge shit. So like it kind of like it wasn't like killed right away.
Yeah.
Mako, what are those definitions you were reading earlier?
Well, all right. So
they're a little dry because it's off the.
Yeah, very dry.
Also, Maka has a sinus infection. Yeah. Thanks for being a trooper. Thanks for being a trooper, buddy.
You can hear it in my nose. All right. So glam metal, also known as hair metal or pop metal, subgenre of heavy metal, which features pop influenced hooks and guitar riffs and borrows heavily from the fashion and image of the 1970s glam rock. So that's like David Bowie and all those guys, New York Dolls.
Androgynous, makeup, over-exaggerated, drag, all sorts of shit like that.
And then
I love that shit.
A lot of eye makeup, lipstick,
eye makeup, yep.
Nail polish. And Alice Cooper wear nail polish.
And then that's fused with like the heavy metal, the heavy metal and like theatrical acts of Alice Cooper and Kiss.
It is heavy metal, though.
It's definitely heavy
glam metal is heavy metal. Like, I don't care what they wore at the beginning of their careers. Like, when it was big.
Pyrotechnics.
Yeah, it was a show, but they were heavy metal. They're heavy metal bands.
The first examples of this fusion began to show up in the late 70s, so 78 probably, and early 80s, in a particular area in Los Angeles called the Sunset Strip.
Sunset Strip. Go-Go, yep. That's where a lot of those bands started.
Motley Crew,
Van Halen, Motley Crue, Rat.
Quiet Riot.
Yeah.
And then it achieved huge success from 81 to 91. So through that decade of
decadence,
just tours and good riffs, and now all those.
And that's exactly when hip-hop and gangster rap showed up and shut down all music and took over the airwaves.
Right, pretty much. Middle of that, like 85. That's when hip-hop. NWA's first album was 87 or something like that, maybe?
NWA were like...
Well, I mean, these bands were huge around that time, too.
Right, they were huge.
Well, it was both. There's different genres.
NWA definitely were pioneers, right?
You had Run DMC.
Unquestionably, those guys were it's two different flavors of hip-hop, really.
Different flavors.
One's about, like, having a good time and pumping beats and, it's tricky, and the other one's like, yo, I'll put a gun to your head and Glock you and take your bitch, son. So it was two different guy stuff, but they snuffed out what we would call rock, but or hairband rock.
I don't think they did. I think rock itself evolved. I think there was certainly competition, like for like people like, but like still they sold platinum records in the 80s, 90s. They don't really today it's different with
You
streaming and
said
stuff, but
you said in an earlier podcast that rock is wide open right now for the
it's
taking.
wide open for the taking.
That's
Absolutely.
because of a
It's wide
complete
open.
lack.
Yeah, for a whole new
People.
Yeah, all these kids into EDM and shit, and this mumble rap and stuff. I don't know. I just think it's open for the taking for like some city or kids to start a movement like of a new genre of rock. Yeah. I mean, you can find your rock. It's all out there. New bands, old bands, everything.
There's just so many things.
EDM is the new
Too
rock.
many things now.
You remember the scene in American Psycho when they're, which if no one's ever seen American Psycho starring Christian Bale, that's a classic.
I have to return some videotapes.
Yeah, you immediately watch it, please. When you remember the scene when they're at the fancy restaurant and someone's going on about some bullshit, and he starts rattling off this long list of like social issues that are really important in the world. That's always going on, man. There's so much shit we have to like take care of.
Right now, like it's just the delivery system of media is just so crazy
like
it's hard to like. Back then, at least it was simple. You go and you buy an album. It's like listen to it on the radio,
right.
A tape.
Society's like a garden that never stops growing weeds, and you're just constantly pruning, keeping it in check.
At the present time, they're always the biggest. So 10 years from now, the weeds will be the biggest, then more weeds.
The weeds are the social issues in my analogy, though. They're like,
Oh, well, those are always there.
We have to push this. We have to get this. We have to get people aware of this situation.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's dig in. Macca, I know your sinuses are fucked up, but just real quick, why don't you give us your list, and then we'll let Dan go nuts. I had my list immediately picked out. I had 4 of the bands, like bing, bang, boom.
I have about 15 bands,
Boom.
and I picked 5 out of them.
Right. Yeah, no, I just was like, yes, 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 yes. And then after that, I was like, who gets slot number 5? Ooh, that's the tricky one.
So let me go 5-1.
You're going.
Oh, yeah,
you're
5-1. Number one's the top one.
You're rating these?
Yeah, I rated them.
Oh, man, go.
So these are my favorite. And number 5 for me is a shout out to the one and only Mike Denomi, who I ran into last night because it was a good friend of ours, Rusty Mercier's 40th birthday party. Happy birthday,
you were
Rusty.
texting me last night.
And I caught up with the great Mike Denomi, and he reminded me of a band named Mother Love Bone.
Mother Love Bone.
Very cool. Late 80s, early 90s, probably.
Do they have
more.
any hits?
They have some decently listened to music on Spotify, like millions of listens.
Time out. Are we playing That Might Not Be a Real Thing right now? Is this fake?
No,
Dan and I have never heard of these people.
They are.
There are plenty of bands I haven't heard of, though.
Yeah.
So.
And you're coming at us with your top 5, number 5 being one, and it's fine because it's whatever your favorites are.
Right.
That's what counts. But I've never heard of these people.
They
like what put them on the map?
Their band members became Pearl Jam, so they went from being this kind of like
How many?
hair metal
Eddie Vedder
bands.
and a couple.
No,
of,
not him.
he came in after.
Yeah.
This happened for some bands, like Pantera was a hair metal band in the 80s, and then they became like the fucking sickest heavy metal band like ever.
Right.
Like, so like they changed up, you know?
They evolved into the grunge.
They evolved. But like you look at old pictures of Pantera in the early 80s, they're like feathered bangs and...
Prince has rebranded and changed his group thrice. Maybe 4 times. It was Prince and the Revolution. Then there was Prince and the something power generation. I don't know what.
Yeah, and then it was the artist formerly known as Prince.
Bingo. Then back to Prince.
Yep.
So that's technically 4 changes. But go ahead, man.
And they would actually say it on like MTV. The artist formerly known as Prince.
Yeah. He was the symbol.
That was great.
I want to know more about these Pearl Jam precursors. Ooh, that's a double. That's alliteration. Is that what they call that when you have double sounds? Bing, bang, bang.
I don't know much about it, but I do know that I like their sound. It was pretty. I was listening to it, and it was good stuff.
So number 4.
So number 4, Poison. Great 80s, 90s. Oh, they were probably done by the 90s, but great band.
No way.
I think they pretty much sold tickets all the time.
Unskinny Bop and all that shit. That was like, I was like 10 when that came out. That was
the problem
1990.
with Poison that I have with Poison is that when the hair metal, they didn't start it, but they took it to an extreme, like we're gonna be the mainstream, like this is your glam metal in a bottle, like this is everything you want to get in one band. This is it. I still like them, but like I've seen them in concert, I saw them with Cinderella.
I saw him with
Is another hair metal band?
We were there together.
Yeah, we were there together. And I'd go see them again. And I like Bret Michaels, and I hope his hair's okay. But
he's diabetes too.
well,
bad.
yeah, and he was losing his hair, and he's trying to cover it and get. It's just a rough mess. But his hair is like part of his image. So
Yeah, that is.
he tried
that-
to keep it.
That is tough.
Yeah, it's tough for a rock star. But anyway,
David Lee Roth had to go through that. You know?
Did he?
Yeah, he just shaves his head like a regular person now.
oh, he shaves it now.
I think so.
Oh, so anyways, keep going.
So number 3, which might piss some people off for me, is Bon Jovi. 3 huge mega hits.
They're another huge band.
Yeah, huge.
Probably bigger than Poison, obviously.
Yeah.
They have Wanted Dead or Alive. It's probably my best favorite Bon Jovi song.
I mean, that's still played today like crazy.
That's the opening song to the movie, the B movie, B-rated movie, Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
I remember you used to watch that.
Dude, that movie molded me as a child.
You used to watch it all the time.
Starring Mickey Rourke and Don Johnson.
Yeah, that's right, Don Johnson.
Everybody, if you haven't, I guess we're gonna go into me telling you what movies to watch today.
Rourke's
But
a badass.
if you want to watch Tom Sizemore was the bad guy in that movie.
Was he really?
Tia Carrera, the girlfriend from Wayne's World.
yep.
She was so hot.
Sean Wayne.
She was like the bad bitch.
Audi.
What's that?
It's when Wayne first saw her.
Yeah.
Sean Wayne. Audi.
Swing. Yeah, Tia Carrera is hot in the 80s and 90s, and she hooked up with Dolph Lundgren in a movie once in a hot tub. You see her boobs. It was like Brandon Lee was in that movie.
Rewind that.
Yeah, Big Trouble in Little Tokyo.
Rewind it and pause it.
Yeah, but
Okay, I'm done. Let
yeah,
it go.
Bon Jovi has.
Turn it off.
Bon Jovi has more than just a couple. I mean,
No, they were.
Living on a Prayer was a fucking.
They
Right,
lasted. They
exactly.
had a lot of staying power, and the glam metal thing didn't like the glam metal thing didn't hang on to everybody forever. I think they're just a really good rock and roll band too.
I
Yeah,
think.
they
definitely had
pivoted.
the hair.
They pivoted.
Yeah, they pivoted, but they definitely had the hair.
Yeah, but you know what? At least they, like, when Bon Jovi, what happened with them, I think, is like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, he became like a heartthrob for like older women, like cougars. Yeah. And
He was really good looking though.
Yeah, he is a good looking son
Yeah,
of a
he's a good-looking
bitch.
guy.
What are you gonna do? He should be a heartthrob. But then they took their music and just kind of slowed it down and reworked it. And, and I like it when bands do that versus like some other band covering it, you know?
Yeah.
Because it says that like, hey, we've always wanted to kind of try it this way too, but we had to sell a bunch of records.
Right.
Execs. Keep going, baby. I'm sorry.
All right, number 2, Motley Crue.
Number 2. Keep
Well,
going.
number 1 could be debatable, and again, depending on our definitions, like my things can shift, so I'm open to it. But Motley Crue, number 2. Number 1, Guns N' Roses.
Okay, I knew you were gonna say Guns N' Roses. I don't consider them hair metal. They were just a heavy metal band. They never really had the hair like that. They came towards the end of the 80s. 88 after the Destruction came out.
Have you seen Welcome to the Jungle, the video?
They
Axl Rose's
do,
hair
but
in
it
that video
wasn't-
is fucking huge.
Yeah, but it was a heavy metal band, hard-hitting heavy metal band. It wasn't like that poppy
That's true.
riff and hooks that like a lot of the, not all the hair metal had, but like a lot of the copycats started to get really fucking light. And Motley Crue toured with them. So they're definitely like an intersection of that world, but like I don't consider them the part of that glam metal scene.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked to hear you say that.
No, they're just a heavy metal band.
And for the record,
I think I might agree with you.
Danny D and I are going to see
We're going
Guns
to
N'
see Guns N'
Roses
Roses.
on,
Oh, really?
on my
In
birthday.
a couple weeks, yeah.
On August
Great.
3rd.
Where are they? Are they Fenway?
Fenway.
Yeah.
Fucking pumped.
I'm pretty excited. We don't get to go out and do a lot of stuff.
By the way, they're one of my favorite bands of all time, too.
I love.
We're going to get properly messed up and take the train in.
Yeah.
Get even more messed up there.
Buy the
and
ticket, take the ride.
Yep, buy the ticket, take the ride. It's gonna get rough out
That's a
there.
good list.
I'm gonna watch you and you watch
It's
me.
like half these.
Keep an eye
guys
on each
are-
other. Buddy system.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely
look the
had the
part.
hair.
They look
I'm
the
not saying
part.
that. I'm just saying the sound.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
They came a little later after all that too. A lot of the hair metal bands. I mean, it's a convoluted, like nuanced thing. It's a family tree of rock and roll. It started with at the beginning of time. Well, no, you know what I'm talking about. Like, started with some of the guys in like the 50s.
Right.
And it's just a family tree of like who influenced who, like up to Sabbath, who influenced this, who influenced that, like
Deep Purple.
that's why you would look at any band's Wikipedia, they have influences. It's a family tree of like rock up until the present day. Like even like grunge and everything. It was influenced by punk, and punk was influenced by this, and yeah.
You are wearing you're wearing a Motley Crew t-shirt.
Shout out the devil.
But you're wearing a bandana, kind of like Axl Rose, but kind of like
Bret Michaels. I wear this almost every day. This bandana.
You were talking about our Instagram stuff earlier. We're gonna get a photo. Would we already take it? I'm blacked out.
I was wearing my battle vest.
Dan made a battle vest, which is
patches
of all these metal bands on there, and we're gonna have some photos
some
of
punk
that
bands,
on
like
Instagram.
the Misfits.
Yeah,
the Misfits.
That's like a horror punk.
So, Danny? What are your 5?
All right, my 5. All right, here we go. This is not easy for me, but my 5 are number 5 is Skid Row.
Skid Row, Sebastian Bach.
Yep. Number 4 is Hanoi Rocks, which is a little bit of a obscure one. He died in the car with Vince Neil when he slipped his Ferrari.
Oh, that's the dude that died.
The dude from England. They were coming to tour with Motley Crue.
Hanoi Rocks.
Number 3. This is another one that could maybe isn't considered hair metal because they influenced like Motley Crue and they were around that time with the Whiskey A Go Go, but they're just a really good rock and roll band with staying power, even through a different singer. Van Halen. Yeah. I mean, they're just one of the greatest bands ever. Number 2, Def Leppard.
Def Leppard?
Def Leppard is a good one.
It's the top 5.
Yeah. Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Yeah. They're a lot.
They had great songs.
They're a lot softer. I guess you don't have to be hard rock.
No, they're glam though. Yeah, I'm not doing heavy metal. They're not on my list for heavy metal bands. Okay. But they are a heavy metal band. But they're not on my list. They're on my list because it's glam. Now, number 1. The originators of glam. Everybody copied them. The greatest fucking band in the world, Motley Crue. I do consider them on every list if I made a list.
Wow.
Every list. I like making lists by eras, though, because I have bands from the 60s, late 60s that I like that I could list. Like The Doors would be number 1. Right. 70s would be like Black Sabbath or like a band like that, Alice Cooper. And then you got the 80s, you have Motley Crue.
I feel like
90s Alice in Chains.
It's hard because the sounds of the times change, so it's hard to compare.
It's hard to compare. You can't compare. That's why I have to do it in eras. If you just said greatest rock bands ever, that list of 5 is probably 5 different eras for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna go through my favorite eras: the '60s. I'm gonna go through the '70s, '80s, '90s, and today, which is like I could do it right now.
So my criteria when I was doing mine, I was like, okay, I'm just going band. I was just doing rock bands that ranged from the 78 to 92 era.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you where our streams cross. You're not supposed to cross the streams except in an extreme emergency. But I don't have them in order, but Motley Crue was definitely on my list. I would say like unquestionably that they're in the top 5. I had put Guns N' Roses on there. If you're telling me I have to remove them,
I just think if we're going pure glam metal.
Yeah, and
I can't count them as glam metal.
I would take out, for me, if that's true,
there was no glam. They were dirty.
I would take out I'd put Van Halen instead of Guns N' Roses.
They're just Guns N' Roses were dirty, like singing November Rain in the rain. Like,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Guns N' Roses is off my list, even though they're a sweet band. I also replaced GNR with Van Halen. Van Halen's a fucking...
But they were definitely glam rock.
Unbelievable.
At least for their 80s.
Yeah, at the beginning.
Well, David Lee Roth.
My kid asked me the other day, Quentin asked me, who's Van Halen? They sing a song called Panama. I'm like, oh yeah, they do. So he played it.
That's Sammy Hagar.
He thought I was getting really excited. That is Sammy Hagar, isn't it?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Jump was David Lee Roth.
Jump's David Lee Roth, yeah. That's not an easy thing to do for a band to be like, hey...
while he's living too,
we're gonna not be with David Lee Roth.
But we're still
anymore.
Gonna be Van Halen.
But yeah, and we're gonna just this other guy, Sammy Hagar. He had a good couple. So did 55 came out before he was on Van Halen, right?
I think so.
He's like, I can't drive 55.
Yeah.
So I think he had like 1 or 2 hits. They liked his sound.
Now they tour with both of them.
Yeah, that's the best thing that ever happened.
They stayed the fuck away from each other, but
it was like a big thing.
Yeah.
You had to pick a side.
Yeah.
People would go up to you and be like, even what's his name? David Spade said it in that movie. He's like, I like Van Halen, not Van Hagar.
Yeah.
Which, that's a ridiculous thing to say.
They were very successful with Sammy Hagar. And like very few bands can switch their singer while they're living. Motley Crue tried to do it with John Corabi, and people hated it. If they put it out as a different band name, it would have been different, but it wasn't Motley Crue.
What if
Generation Swine, I think it was one of the albums.
The song Right Now by Van Halen, that's Sammy Hagar. And I know for a fact it's blended into my brain, Danny.
That song's on everything.
Yeah, but in the early 90s, Diet Pepsi came out with the clear version of Diet Pepsi Clear.
Oh, we could do a whole episode on that.
And
I know the history of that.
And they had Right Now as like the ad, as the song in the background of the ad.
Yep.
And that was like a critical time in my development. They may be the reason I'm addicted to Diet Pepsi. I can't speak for everyone else that's got the diet soda hook, but
a crystal clear Pepsi is a cool story. Actually,
you throw Van Halen on the background of a drink that I already love. Oof, forget
what else do you have for bands?
Well, Kiss is my favorite band, period.
Yeah, but they took advantage of the glam thing.
I don't care.
They weren't like in the original. They're 70s rock and roll bands.
I've seen them thrice. Not once.
Oh, I love Kiss.
Not twice, but thrice. You get painted up. Everybody fucking loves it. There's some people there that are really painted up and dressed like them.
It's a great time, and they're not going to live forever. It's kind of sad that you won't be able to go to a Kiss concert eventually.
They sell out to this day. Total sold out. They have... See, the other thing in my criteria wasn't just the time period these people were around. You had to have a certain amount of hits. Like, you had to have, like, 10 good songs. You know what I mean? That's tough for anyone.
That's a lot. 10 good songs is a lot.
That's tough for anyone to do.
Not many of them have
as sad as it is, I can't name 10 Motley Crue songs I can listen to. I can listen to, like, 6.
Okay, they had 10 hits, though.
Yeah, I know.
They had 10 hits.
But, like, Shout at the Devil.
Shout at the Devil. Live Wire.
Live Wire's
Girls, Girls,
Live
Girls.
Wire's okay.
Dr. Feel Good.
I don't love it.
Kickstart My Heart.
Kickstart My Heart's
Home
their best
Sweet
song.
Home. Somebody's gonna yell at me, but yeah. They end the concerts in that too. No,
that's not 10.
I could do 10.
They have other songs. I know
my brain
this.
doesn't work that way.
No, I know that, but they have other songs. I know that, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
they have like 5 amazing hits, and the rest are just.
That's a lot, Chris.
I know it's a lot, but
that's a couple on every album.
It's like, I guess Aerosmith.
How many does Kiss have?
Kiss has got, Jesus Christ. Yeah, right, dude.
Great song.
Kiss has got.
They have one massive hit.
Kiss has got Lick It Up.
That's not a huge hit, though, compared to
It's in all kinds of rock movies. It's in the movie The Rockstar when they're setting up the stage and fast forward.
Oh, no, it's a great song. I love that song. I like Love Gun.
Rock and Roll All Night.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Dr. Love. Shout It Out Loud.
Can I say Shout at the Devil?
Beth.
Yes.
Wild Side.
Yeah. All right, Motley Crue's got to take
Too Fast for Love. Let's see. Smoking in the Boys' Room. That was a remake.
They have the new one they came out with for The Dirt was pretty decent.
Yeah.
And Hell in High Heels is a great song that a lot of people don't listen to.
A lot of good ones.
Have you listened to Hell in High Heels?
No.
You should.
Is it Motley Crue?
It's Crue.
Oh, okay.
It's fucking great.
It's a newer one?
I don't think it's a newer one. You have to look into it, but it's
not on the essentials, but it's probably one of those albums. But yeah, no.
So my initial list was this, right? Right. I'll give you the 4 that were in my brain right away. I was like Kiss, GNR, which we've now had to replace with Van Halen, Poison, which
you're a big Poison guy.
I love Poison. Poison has Unskinny Bop, Something to Believe in, Flesh and Blood. Every Rose Has Its Thorn, obviously.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one if you want to like think of like every shitty ex you ever had and just like go down horrible memory lane. Yeah, it's a great one. No, it is.
So what about Twisted Sister? Nobody mentioned that.
Nobody mentioned Twisted Sister. They're obviously a good band too. You know,
they didn't have that glam metal sound.
They have
but
like 2-3 songs. You know,
yeah.
They were loud, bro. They were
yeah. I wanna rock.
Yeah. Rock. Yeah, no, that is a fucking.
I got some other ones here too. We have Rat, Cinderella, Warrant.
Cinderella,
Quiet Riot, Whitesnake. The big one.
Whitesnake's got a couple real good ones, man.
Yeah.
They got like Whitesnake has Slow and Easy.
Token is another one.
I Go Again on My Own.
What was it? Your old man loves it. Pat Benatar.
Pat Benatar?
Is she? No,
what
that's
about,
not.
She's a singer from the 80s.
Yeah.
She has a band. She has a band.
Who was the
Joan Jett?
Yeah, Joan Jett.
She can kind of be considered glam.
I like the Runaways, Cherry Bomb.
Yeah. I love the Runaways. Yeah.
No,
that's hot.
Joan Jett is a fucking. I love Joan Jett's
She's going to be in Boston.
I love her music. I love her whole like she was a sexual lady. All her music's really about hooking up with guys and like that it's okay to do it, and she's in charge of it. She's the predator, and she sings a song called the French Song. It's in French. They're singing about having some sort of threesome.
Oh, really?
But they could get it on the air in the
Menage a
U.S.
trois.
But yeah, it's just called the French Song is the name of the song. But she also did a lot of. She took a lot of oldies and redid them to her sound, like Louie, Louie, we gotta go. But when you hear her do it, it's like fucking, they got the guitar.
Yeah, I've seen her do. I've seen her do "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana. I've seen her do all sorts of stuff.
So I just want to point out though that we've all said Motley Crue and Poison so far, right? Was Poison on your list, Macca?
Poison was on my list. I don't think it was on.
It wasn't on mine.
So when we went to that Poison concert, right?
Yeah,
Cinderella opened for them.
they did. They have one hit.
So that was what I was gonna say.
Maybe.
I had heard of Cinderella. Obviously, I knew who they were, and I think they had like 4 good songs that I didn't know about. Like that was like, "Don't Know What You've Got Till It's Gone." It's probably that's like their ballad. But then they got.
They had famous ballads, I think.
No, they have a couple other good ones too. Like I can't remember. I'll have to look up Cinderella songs, but
Yeah.
I remember watching them, and oh boy, you want to talk about glam, man? That dude he's wearing he's got the curly hair. He's wearing the
Nobody's Fool.
Nobody's Fool. Yeah, that's a good one. He's got like that.
Coming Home.
Yeah, I'm coming. He's got that like tuxedo from like the 1700s style on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would you?
I don't remember that. My memories for like some events like Motley Crue, I remember really well back then.
How would you describe the outfit he wears?
I don't remember.
It's like a tuxedo, dude, but it's like really old and fat, like an old-fashioned tuxedo. I'm looking at their album cover right now.
Look at the hair for Britney Fox. Look at this band.
Britney Fox, dude.
Look at that hair.
What's their hit? What are they?
It's the bangs. They cut the bangs, which looks ridiculous.
Dude, Britney Fox has a couple good songs. I had completely forgotten about them as a band, but they used to be on like my original iPod. What's their big hit?
Let's see. Long Way to Love, is that one?
I think so.
Yeah.
They have a couple, but I remember like, whoa, Britney Fox, good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, okay. A lot of it too is not just long hair for the band; it's bangs cut and feathered. A lot of them had those bangs cut, which looks ridiculous.
It does.
So, like, in my hair group, I have like 5,500 guys, and there's maybe 2 with their bangs cut, and they look ridiculous.
It's funny because a hair group sounds like something like a bald guy would go to. Like, hey, I got to go to my hair group. We're gonna sit around.
Well,
and
okay,
talk
it's a long hair fraternity for men kind.
Can I tell you that it appears to me that there's no cure for baldness because
no, there's some stuff you can do.
You talked about it before, but you got guys like Bret Michaels and David Lee Roth and I think Gene Simmons has been wearing a wig forever. But like these dudes are trying to hold on to this hair. They've got all the
image.
I know,
it's their identity.
But they've got all the money and the resources in the world. If a cure was out there, they would have access to it.
There's cures that just only work for a certain percentage of people. So like there's like a minoxidil derma roller, peppermint oil, massage your scalp kind of thing, and then there's like laser things. There's a few things you can do. Like it's not futile, but it definitely doesn't work for everybody. And some people are too far advanced. Like you got to catch it sort of early when you're thinning. And the signs of thinning, like
George Costanza talks about it.
He's bald. He would have never grew any hair back.
There's like an episode of Seinfeld where this dude's been shaving his head his whole life, like I have.
You've been doing it. How bald are you? Like horseshoe?
It just stopped. Like,
is there anything on top?
It's smooth now because I just shaved it. But when I was like 20, it started thinning out, and I was like expecting it to like completely go and go and go, but it just like kind of hit when I was like 21, 22, it was like, all right, this is all we're going to lose. The rest is just going to stay.
Yeah.
So it looks ridiculous to grow it out for me. So
you look good bald.
I shave it, but
I would do that too.
I think I might be a head shaving person soon.
You better be. You would look great. You'll love it too. You don't know about this yet, okay? When you bick your head, and there's a period of time just like shaving. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you brought this up. This is a weird thing to say, but this is a weird thing to ask.
Segment.
But Do you still not use aftershave after you shave? You told me one time you didn't use aftershave, and I was telling you, what? You got to splash it on.
No.
You still don't use it?
Sometimes I use a cream.
A post-shave lotion cream.
Yeah, that's what I use. Yeah. I don't use like alcohol-based aftershave, but that's a lot of guys I know that use straight razors. They use alcohol-based old school. Because like that's what they used to use. That's what they want.
It's great.
And it's part of the branding. If you're gonna,
it's like you get the brush, you get the bowl, you get the soap, you get the aftershave. It comes with the whole thing.
But yeah, I use a lotion if I use anything.
The beard market's ridiculous right now. Shaving and beard market is booming. Like, a lot of competition.
Well, you got an unprecedented time in our history where people didn't have to worry about what they looked like anymore, so they didn't have to shave.
Well, and beards aren't like homely anymore. They're like cool.
All these dudes that grew long hair and long beards.
And you also
like mullets. Drift. I'm just saying,
mullets are back even.
Do I have beard drift? Mine's out of control.
No, beard drift is like dandruff, but beard.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, no, I don't have that at all.
I can't grow onto my I can't grow onto my lips, so I don't even bother because it just starts down here. I want a full big man's beard.
Hey, everybody likes a good beard, but so I guess I can't really finish out my top 5 because I was going to put Aerosmith in there because they've got they're
classic 70s rock.
Yeah,
but they
survived the 80s. They did great.
They had pretty big resurgence in the early 90s.
No, they did.
I think Big Ones came out.
Lots of soundtracks. Big Ones was great.
Big Ones came out, and
Permanent Vacation was like the last
they had
one, I think.
Remember they had the video Living on the Edge?
Yeah.
And
Alicia Silverstone, was she in that? Or was that
she did a couple of videos with them.
That's a great song.
But Living on the Edge must have been 91, 92, 93.
Yeah, early MTV.
Something like
MTV.
that.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember the dude? And I feel gypped about it because we're starting to get this stuff now, but it should be way more advanced and we should be way more plugged in. But they had the artificial... the virtual reality headset on the dude, and he was like riding a motorcycle and all this other stuff. And then I remember seeing that when I was like 12 or 13 and being like, sweet, virtual reality. Well, guess what, man?
We have it now.
I'm good. Yeah, we have it, but it's like
pretty good. It's not gonna suck your dick, but it's pretty good.
Oh,
they're working on it.
I'm pretty sure they have it.
They're working on it.
They have things to align.
I'm pretty sure they have it. Yeah. So Aerosmith's out, which sucks because they're on my list.
Well, if we're talking about glam rock.
Yeah, we're talking about glam rock.
They're kind of more classic rock.
They're more classic rock. They had the hair. Everybody had the hair in the 80s.
They all dressed the same after a while.
Yeah.
There was some copycatting, I guess. Like the Motley Crue and Kiss had the same management or the same people doing their videos for a while because there was a big bullshit going on between them back and forth where I think I don't know, might have been Tommy Lee, might have been Vince Neil, might have been both of them, probably Tommy Lee. He was talking shit saying that Kiss was ripping off their video ideas, right? Because if you see
they hated Kiss.
Well, they toured together.
Yeah, but there was a lot of riffs between Kiss and
the first time I saw Motley Crue was I think they were opening for Kiss.
Yeah, well, it's business.
So that shows you right there.
I'm sure they're okay now, though.
That movie they made, The Dirt, was it
was a very shortened
so good.
Like a shortened version, though, of what happened.
How do you compress 20 years of history into an hour and a half?
It could have been a good show, like multi-season show.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Oh, yeah. You think they could have had a real...
Yeah, because they had to, skip over so much shit. And movies these days, are more primitive than they used to be. They're still works of art that you put together in a couple hours, but the dramatic shows, if it's The Sopranos, is just amazing. It's the golden age of television right now.
It is.
I'm sick of boomers saying, "Oh, when I was a kid, TV was so much better." No, it wasn't. It was better. It's better now. It's the best it's ever been.
It's replaced movies.
Yeah. In these big actors who never wanted to touch TV before because that was a sign your career was slipping. Now they want to be on shows. They want to have hits. Some of these actors like Alec Baldwin and stuff, they want to have their own hit too.
Oh yeah.
They were groupies for The Sopranos, actors, back when that show was big.
Well, yeah. Actors, where they have the Film Actors Guild, they all have to play by the rules.
Yeah.
or if you like can't work in Hollywood unless you're part of this bullshit. We went and saw in the theater when a long time ago when you could. We went and saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, I need to see that.
yeah.
First of all, definitely watch it.
Bruce Lee thing.
There's another one.
Wait.
There's another one for everybody to check
Wait,
out.
the Bruce Lee thing though, I heard pissed some people off because it made him look stupid.
I told you this. It pissed me off. It did make him look stupid.
And that shouldn't have been.
Well, I don't mind that. Well, here's the deal. What was bullshit about that is that I don't mind if you're going to put a scene in a movie where Bruce Lee is in it and some stunt guy grabs him and throws him into a car or whatever. But when they advertised that movie, they made it look like Bruce Lee was going to be a major part of the film, and he's only in there for like
he's very quick
for like 2 minutes. And I remember
Bruce Lee was little too, though. I can believe somebody choking him out or a stunt driver throwing him into a car.
Very
little guy.
Very little.
Gene LaBelle used to choke him all the time.
He was fast and he was super strong and all that and talented. But like at the end of the day, if a giant guy physically grabs you and throws you through the air into a car or something like that hurts, bro. You're gonna break something, you know what I mean?
No, he doesn't go down completely like a sucker though. He does fight in it, right? Pretty good.
It's just quick. It's like the scuffle that happens because they're arguing. Like basically, he's talking trash, saying that Cassius Clay, aka Muhammad Ali, is not really that great and that he could beat him. And Brad Pitt's character is sitting there saying, "All right, buddy, settle down. You know, you're a guy that does some stunts in movies. This guy's the best boxer in the world." And Bruce Lee's like, "Oh yeah, let's fight right now." And like I don't know.
I don't even think Bruce Lee felt that way. I think he was like enamored by professional boxing.
He loved anybody that was
he was respectful. I think Tarantino just kind of took a shit all over.
Well, that was the thing I didn't like about it. That Tarantino took advantage of Bruce Lee's popularity by featuring him in all the and it could have been the film, whoever owns the film corporations or whatever, but they took advantage of Bruce Lee's image by putting him in all the advertisements, but then he only got like a minute of screen time, so I didn't like that. What I did like, and it was what you were talking about earlier with actors not wanting to go on a TV, was that fucking the best scene in the movie for me. I mean, there's a lot of good scenes.
It's a good movie though, right?
Oh, it's great.
But one of my favorite scenes is when Leonardo DiCaprio he's like, someone's basically already broken down the formula to him that he's on his way out. Yeah. And he's in this scene with a little girl who's like taking it serious as shit. And then off camera, he's talking to Brad Pitt and he's like, "I'm done, man. I'm fucking done. Even that little girl can see it." And he's just crying. Oh God, what a good scene.
Yeah.
He's a fucking great actor.
He is.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Who does he play?
He's just some guy that's like he's like a big actor in the 50s and 60s. And Brad Pitt's his stunt man.
Yeah.
Right? So like he's in like a Western and he's in some other shit, but basically he starts showing up on TV as like the bad guy in a single episode that he gets killed at the end, right? And so I forget who the guy is in the movie that tells him, but he basically tells him, "Hey man, I don't know if you get it, but like you start getting these types of roles when you're on the decline, and like he's just whatever." But I don't know. I did have a Just the Tip for this week. Did you have a bizarre?
I got something. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got?
All right, give me a second. Hold on a second.
All right, I'll just say this too. I think when we're talking about what I really love about music and these little subgenres that come out is just like the scenes that they come out of. Like they're in LA at that point in time, and like there's a couple of bands that are messing around with a different sound than what they've heard for the last 10 years, and then all of a sudden there's like 20 bands that come out of that.
You're saying that they become the influencer of all these other people.
Yeah, like Motley Crew and Bon Jovi, and they were all coming around the same area of LA, and then they blew up from that area because there was like this synergy of that type of music.
That happened in a lot of spots. It happened in Manchester, England, with grunge, and it happened in Seattle, obviously with grunge.
Seattle was
happened
a big deal,
in a bunch of places. New York with punk, and then like
Tennessee is Nashville's country, right?
Country,
yeah, exactly.
It just happened.
That's
what we need. We need regional band scenes to happen again. And I know there are scenes like I'm in touch with younger guys who are like into the metal scenes and like rock scenes, and they tell me that there's stuff happening, and especially now the concerts are back,
right?
Which is good.
Like New York hip hop, and then Atlanta hip hop, and LA hip hop, and then Houston, and it just kind of blows up from there. So I like that stuff.
I wanted to throw a couple other things out there on. Okay, so one thing about just hip hop that I want to give hip hop a shout out for is there are not a lot of other. I can't think of any other musical genre that's done more for like making cannabis legal or cool or okay and like status quo. Basically, every rock song I've ever heard, Neil Diamond has a song. He's like, one of the lyrics is like that they think you're growing your own tea, and that's like a slang way of saying weed. But like hip hop was straight up. They were like, yo, I'm smoking chronic, we're blowing this, we're doing that, we're rolling blunts, son. They're like, roll this up, like smoke that weed, nigga. Like all this. Oh, probably can't say that on the air.
Yeah, we'll have to edit that part out.
But what I'm saying is that they really came at it hard with making weed okay. We're good. And I want to give them a shout out for that, because that's a big deal, man. Influence, like in the movie Blow with Johnny Depp, and another one. They're asking, like, he's a pot dealer, right? And at the time, they're asking him something about like, do you think that cocaine could be popular in America or whatever? And I mean, turns out it's a chemical substance that hijacks the brain. Doesn't matter where you are. If you get your hands on it, someone's going to want it. You're going to want to do more of it. But his response was simply that if the musicians and the artists accept it, then everyone else will too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that means that music is a very powerful delivery system for a message that you're trying to get across. And so that's like, a lot of people do obviously have like, profound lyrics in their songs. But I like hip hop specifically for really pushing the weed issue. The other thing I was talking about this week that was cool about music is like, when we were kids, if you want, like, when a new song came out, you heard it on the radio, right?
Always on the radio.
Or one of your friends had it.
Yeah.
And you listened to it on like, cassette or CD, right?
Somebody made you a copy maybe.
Right. We used to
But
make
even better, you went out and bought it.
When we were able to burn discs was a big deal. When we could start writing.
You remember like the
our own
Aerosmith
DVDs.
like album covers and stuff, and like the sleeves that came out. That was fun.
Because you're a master of the mixtape.
That's correct. Yeah.
You've made a lot of mixtapes in your day.
Yeah. Curations, I call them.
Yeah, curations.
Are you still making them?
And so
more in the
playlist.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's what I was talking to this guy at the Y about this week. I was like, when we were a kid, you went to, it was cool. You went.
Tell you had a big ding dong, like that other guy. Man,
no,
you got a big one.
Thank the Lord's a Kobold. I haven't seen that guy.
Oh,
in
good.
Weeks. He was having a bad influence on me. So we used to go to like the record store, and that was a cool experience.
Every Tuesday.
You have to get them. There was a day that they dropped,
every Tuesday the albums came.
And they had, what was the Newberry Comics was like one of the later ones, but
Yeah,
before that we had
mall upstairs.
we had a couple of them.
Strawberries.
And then they made the movie.
Strawberries.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
They made that movie.
How could that be in my brain for like 20 years and not think of it?
I know.
Because it's so old.
And it's still, but I remember what he's talking about though.
They made the movie Empire Records. So like the record store was a scene in itself.
Absolutely.
And you would like go there and hang out there and like walk around, look at all.
Is it Virgin Records? Is that one of them?
I think
You'd peruse the, all the sections and look at this, look at that. Maybe you saw something you didn't know about. It was like $5 because it was like old, right? And they don't really have that anymore.
No.
And that's a sacrifice that we gave up for the technology that we have now. What we got out of the technology we have now is very cool though. Now I tell the computer I want to listen to, like, you reminded me earlier, Brittany Fox, right?
Yeah,
I
you can
remember
listen to anything you want now. Right away.
Yeah, it makes it very easy.
Cinderella has another song with the name Rose in it. Gypsy Road. Yeah, Gypsy Road, not Rose, Gypsy Road.
Yeah.
That's a good song. So if I go in and I tell my computer right now I want to hear Gypsy Road by Cinderella, it's going to play it for me.
Yeah.
But then it's also going to learn that this guy likes Gypsy Road.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll like these other 20 songs he's never even heard of yet. And maybe I have at this point in my life heard of like 10 of those songs.
Right.
But like now, like if you're a kid now and you want to hear music, like anything, right? Like anyone listening to this podcast right now, if they're like 18, and they're like, oh, I've never heard of these bands that these guys are talking about. Or I remember hearing the Motley Crue movie.
Even if you have a shitty band that never made even one show, you could still be on iTunes.
Right. They're going to go out, they're going to download it or research it, and then the computer will then expose them to other types of music in that genre. So it it definitely is a better delivery system, and it proliferates the...
It just gets rid of that experience of going to pick out a new album.
It sucks to
and
miss.
Counting album sales and like it's all
Kids don't know about that.
No, so it's all like the numbers in the air must be really hard to quantify. Same with movies and TV too.
Yeah.
And you didn't just go to the record store just to go to the record store. Sometimes you did. Most of the times that record store was in the mall. So now you're at the mall. Right. You're walking around with your friends.
Yeah, with your friends. Yeah,
dude, it was the best.
We get dropped off.
Yep.
Now we order everything on the internet, which is fucking sweet.
Kids still get dropped off at the mall. I was just there this weekend.
But you're right. That experience of it's coming out in a month, and on this Tuesday, me and my friends after school are going to drive up to wherever, Newbury Comics, and get it. Yeah. The new Method Man CD.
Wu-Tang Clan, 1992, something like that.
Well, the first one was 93, and the second one was 96 or 7, I think.
All right, so Cinderella and Poison and these guys are trying to hang on to their hair and make a couple more hits in the 90s. Meanwhile, Wu-Tang Clan's like...
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
That's basically... like
not even knowing about that.
Cash rules everything around.
So you asshole.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Keep feeding you. Feeding you.
Wu-Tang's like, what's that?
You don't like hip-hop, but you know instantly Wu-Tang. So
I know shit, all right?
Okay, but I'm saying that in and of itself lets you know how good they are.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even if you don't like this type of music,
but I think Wu-Tang is cool to guys who like rock. For some reason, they just like cross over to that.
They did.
I don't know why.
Crossed over well.
Yeah, I don't know why. They just crossed over. They're one of those cool.
One of their first major tours was Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, I don't know why they cross over, because they're a rap group, but they cross over.
Because those cats, the Wu-Tang guys, are super open-minded.
Right.
Oh yeah, they'll go on a song with anybody. They were on with like Limp Bizkit and stuff, like Method Man, right?
But like the RZA's a really smart guy.
The Jizza, Old Dirty Bastard, Raekwon the Chef.
I think
Method Man, group of talented, very super talented people.
Yeah, they're all talented, but
uber creative.
Do you think that the RZA's like, intelligently? Do you think he's the smartest one in the group?
I think they're all probably smart. It's just that RZA has a smartness for certain things. Jizza is like a scientist, like for real.
In real life, yeah. Yeah, so there you go.
I think he has a science show on some streaming network.
Good for him. Really? Man. That's badass.
Do you want me to do my bizarre beyond belief?
Yeah. One other thing I did want to say though is like David Lee Roth. I want to give him points because when he was like done Van Halen for a while.
Yeah.
First of all, when you like are this huge giant icon of a thing, and now all of a sudden you're not, and the whole world knows it, like that's got to be a massive psychological thing to cope with. And then you get people that like work for something their whole life and then they can't do it anymore. They retire and they're like, they can't go on to the next thing. He became an EMT in New York City for like 5 years or something like that. Just drove around in an ambulance as a regular guy. I fucking love that. He's like, yo, I'm done Van Halen. I've already had a couple solo hits. He's like, I want to do something. He basically decided he wanted to do something good with his time and volunteer because he didn't need money or anything. And he's like, I'm going to go be an EMT. I think that's fucking awesome. Yeah. And so that's all he got. What's your bizarre beyond?
All right, my phone just died, so I can't even fucking read the story.
It's all right.
But it's just kind of a cool story. It's nothing like unexplained or anything. But this guy's had a 12-inch tortoise pen for his tortoise outside, and it got out, and he found the tortoise a year later, 1.5 miles from his house. The thing had been walking for the entire year. That's as far as it got, and they calculated the speed. Nobody brought it there. It didn't like walk somewhere else and walk back. It walked that direction, and yeah.
I don't want a giant. Was
like
a giant?
Tortoise. Yeah, he just walked. It took him a whole year to get 1.5 miles.
So you're telling I don't want to poke holes in your amusing story, but how do they track this thing? How do they know
they
a
knew
year and
how
a half
fast
it didn't go in like a circle?
No, they know how fast it goes.
Borrowed somewhere,
and they calculated how long it took and how many miles how many.
Like what if it dug in the mud for 6 months and didn't move?
No, because they know how fast it goes and how far it can reach at the top speed, and that's where it made it.
That's amazing.
An average walking a day. Like it probably took a break, but
yeah. It stopped.
It's not very far for a year.
Why the fuck are they so slow? Like
slow.
Like they're this giant. They're this giant.
They're a super intelligent,
meaty thing that every animal in the
seen
world's
fuck?
gonna want to eat.
You ever seen them have sex?
Yeah, I've
Awesome.
seen them. It's hard. They like have to get up there and they're like,
Go get that in there. It's in.
most lizards do it like sideways or some kind of weird way, but they have that giant shell they got to cope with on a tortoise.
Yeah.
So this, you're telling me this thing hurdled the 12-inch pen, but couldn't just after that it was exhausted and
Just left the.
No, it walked for a while. It just didn't make it that far because it's a slow tortoise.
It must have stopped a bunch of times.
I'm sure it stopped, but it's just funny how they found it so close to the house.
it was in like
After a whole year.
it was
Probably
in a
thought
warm,
it was dead.
It was in a warm state.
Probably.
Wow.
Well, I can't see because my fucking phone died, but
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, it's all right.
That's all right.
But no, that's just a cutesy little story. I had some other stuff too, like with some ghost stories that were pretty interesting.
I got
Like this
some-
kid who saw like his grandmother next to her coffin at the wake, like standing there, and like he swears up and down, like I fucking saw her, and I don't know how to explain it, but
Maybe she was the
Kinda
lady.
creepy.
Maybe she was the lady we heard earlier on the Phantom.
maybe she was. Maybe she was. Yeah, we'll have to go over that.
What's even creepier about that
We
is
should put that at the beginning of the episode. Like that should be the opening thing before the titles.
I'll see if it came on the. I mean, we heard it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on the record, but we'll check it out. But
Imagine if she said something creepy.
like in slow mo, we can hear her say something really. Because I couldn't understand what I was hearing, but it sounded like somebody yelled something, right?
Yeah, like Paul is dead.
She's bad.
The power of Christ compels you.
Yeah, it was
Your
weird.
mother touched cocks in hell.
Lovely.
Demi, why you do this to me, Demi? I'm afraid.
Do you think Exorcist is not the scariest movie ever? Jaws is, right?
No, Jaws isn't that scary. I think it just scared a lot of people with the water.
I think Jaws is the scariest movie ever made.
It could be the scariest like influence, but like watching it now, it's not scary. The Exorcist, I still kind of get paranoid watching it alone.
Yeah.
It just feels like something was with that movie, something demonic.
We should do a horror movie.
Yes,
because you're into horror stuff.
I'm into horror, yeah.
Maybe I don't know, next week or whatever. But I'm not calling a date on it. But you can do a horror. You can give us an
5 greatest horror
education
movies of all time.
on the horror movies.
Yeah. I know the whole history of horror.
Do you
movies.
like horror? Because I got to tell you,
I do not.
I do not. I don't like watching scary movies because I have bad dreams. Like when we were.
Oh, that lady just said something. Did you hear? She called you guys pussies.
This is a true story. I was playing poker at these people's house like when I was like 20. Whenever the Chainsaw Massacre remake came out, was that 2000, 2001, 2002? Yeah. Didn't even fucking watch the movie. Had my back turned to the TV, but just like hearing the chainsaw and the occasional like
We watched the original at your house when we were kids.
Dude, I had nightmares.
It said that it was a true story.
I had
which it
nightmares
isn't,
for a
but it
month,
said that.
dude.
We'd say it was a true story. Remember?
Can't do scary movies, but I will indulge you in a horror episode.
Okay.
So, just the tip for this week, and this is such a big one. I have just to say I don't know how long we've been doing just the tip on the show. I think it's like since the first 2 episodes or whatever. Yeah. So I haven't gone back and like double checked to see if I'm repeating myself on the just the tips, although I'm pretty sure I haven't been. This one seems like it should be, but Dan, back me up on this, okay? My just the tip for this week, and it really applies to the males in the audience, but I guess females too. But you gotta treat people good, and you gotta be nice. Like you gotta actually treat girls nice, okay? And you've never heard me call a girl like a whore, a slut.
Never.
I never use those types of words. Those are bad words. Okay, those are like derogatory. Some weirdo, like the dominatrix girl we had on, she would love it if you called her that, right? So there is a certain amount of percentage of people, but I'm talking to like younger guys in particular. Like, don't be calling girls a slut or a hoe or anything like, or a thought or a. Yeah. I think a pog is actually okay.
I didn't know you knew about that.
You didn't think I knew?
Fat ass white girl.
You didn't think I knew about a thought?
Yeah.
Well, I heard it. I think I learned it from. Actually, I think I learned it from Kingsley, who learned it from Quentin, who learned it at school.
Nice.
Either that, or I learned it from Jimmy McKenna's nephew, who was like 13 at the time. But it's that hoe over there.
Yes.
I definitely learned it from Jimmy's nephew.
It's kind of an ugly thing, isn't it?
That hoe over there.
Guys calling girls sluts like in groups of guys. Well, it's kind of an ugly thing.
It's bad stuff.
Yeah.
It's counterproductive to what you're trying to achieve anyway. Like the amount of work that you put into like trying to hook up with a girl, especially when you're young.
That's a gross one.
Yeah. Like some of our high school buddies used to use some colorful words, and I'd say, look, you guys, I've definitely referred to these types of girls as cool girls before on the air, and you are cool girls. I love you. You know what? If I could make love to every cool girl in the world, I would. And the regret of my life is that I just don't have the logistics and resources to achieve it.
It's impossible.
So I just accept
billions of people on the planet.
So I'm not Genghis Khan, and I just accept that I take what the universe allots me, and I'm thankful for what I get. I'm thankful for what I get.
Adequate.
Yeah, it is. But you spend so much time trying to hook up with a girl, and then you're gonna go behind her back after you hooked up with her and call her a slut or a hoe. I mean, I can understand if like your girlfriend cheats on you and you're furious in that instance, but don't
that's reserved for that.
Never say it just to describe a girl that you fooled around with or hooked up with. It makes the girl feel
the guy
bad.
talking, man, the girl's a slam pig.
Yeah, it's no good, dude. It makes all the other guys like think it's okay, and then they start talking like that, and then they're gonna like try to hook up with her even though they don't like her.
I wish I could go back and be like, don't talk like that.
I did. I'd be like, I used to say, I never said that stuff. So
Sure,
you gotta replace those words
to me,
with positive words. You gotta positively reinforce someone, right? Like if a girl just gave you like the best blowjob of your life, you gotta be like, and I say this stuff all the time. I'll look him right in the eye. I'll be like, man, that was just terrific. Like, you did an excellent job. I'm like, really good. And people
the best one is the one you just got.
I know you said that last week.
That one's the one you just got.
I agree with that.
Oh man, that was just great. Thank you.
I agree with that to a certain extent, but I can tell you right now that it's not the one you just got.
No,
there are certain ones.
I'm just saying that's not what I mean, though. You know what I mean?
There's a couple in my history.
It feels the greatest when you just got it.
Yeah.
Not like looking back 5 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I mean. But just to sum up, just the tip: be nice to girls before and after you've fooled around with them. Be a good breaker upper. Like if you're preferably going into the scenario, if you don't have intentions to go long term, you should just dump that out and say it.
Just text them and block them.
Just a lot of people don't have the balls to like. They kind of just you get that thing leading someone on. Like you can't lead someone on if you tell them like, hey, I'm a butterfly man. I just want to fly around and put my nose in all the flowers' nectar. They know what they're getting into if they're going out with you. But if you're just be nice to girls, man. I got a kid. She's coming of age. If you're not nice to her, she'll probably kill you. She's your daughter's probably going to be a real feisty kid. You don't want some dickhead talking about her, right?
I'll kill all of them.
I think she might. She'll be tough. She's got older brothers.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's for the week. I don't have anything else other than to keep spreading the word. And thanks for listening. And
following us on IG.
Following us on IG. See Dan D's pelvic.
7 days of pelvic thrusts.
Is that over?
Yeah, and one more today.
Watch all 19 of the movies today that I
Sometimes I just wake up in the middle of the night and I'm just like, the pelvic thrust is up there on Instagram. Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I'm going back to sleep before I want to hit myself over the head.
Like you wake up in panic, like, oh no.
Panic, like, oh shit. What am I putting out to the world? Like at the beginning of the show, I did that too when I was talking about sex and stuff. I'm like, what am I saying to the world?
You're saying every once in a while you get like
our whole
a reality check.
Our whole IG is you.
Uh-huh. I know. It's scary.
You're
like
don't listen to that voice.
Scared.
Yeah,
that voice is in there though. I'll admit it. It's in there.
Oh, it is. I think it is for all of us.
Yeah, you got to just say fuck it. Don't listen to that. Especially you, man. Come on.
I know. I still have. Oh, shit, my headphones just fell off. That was that lady, the haunted lady. She pushed them off my head. Okay, so no, but I sometimes get those tinges of everything. I'll be like, I should be working in an office. I should cut my hair and dress like a douche.
Oh, you're talking about a complete...
Just a complete, like, once in a while. It's always in the middle of the night.
A complete questioning of your entire existence.
I'll get up in the middle of the night. Well, I'm really confident with, like, what I like and what I do. But sometimes in the middle of the night, for some reason, I get, like, a self-conscious tinge when I go take a piss. Then I just go right back to sleep and I'm fine.
Well, if we're
You
being
want
honest,
your bad thoughts.
if we're being honest, I think everybody has those feelings from time to time, right? About everything. And then if you're someone that lives on the edge, I feel like I'm one of those people to a really good extent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, every once in a while you get a flash of like, maybe I should be more conservative or more responsible or some other thing like that. But then I just try to remind myself that like my life's finite and I'm going to die any second now, and I'm just going to do whatever I want before now and then.
I mean, that's part of the reason why I did change some things about me slowly over the years, just because I've had life-threatening shit happen to me, and that'll make you think. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason I even have this podcast. People have said to me, like, you know, half serious, half joking, like my whole life, like, oh, you should have a radio show, you should have a podcast.
Yeah. You have to leave a legacy.
It's work.
Something.
But one day I was just like, you know what? We are going to do it because fuck it. Let's get out and, what do I say? Reach out and touch someone? Is that what we did on the...
We reached out and touched someone.
Is that an old phone? That was the old... AT&T from the 80s. They're like, reach out and touch someone.
New England telephone.
We're the one for you, New England. New England telephone.
Wow. There you go. We got to do an 80s show.
Yeah.
Want to do that next week?
Sure.
80s cartoons?
Let's just
Have we done that already?
What if we do?
No.
What if we do next week? What if we do like something similar to going to the store and getting a new album? That experience,
How about, like Blockbuster,
like nostalgic shit that we can't do anymore.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Nostalgic shit we can't do anymore. I like that.
Stuff we miss that you can't have anymore.
Well, it's just like the world changed, and now it's no longer.
Nothing lasts forever.
That's it, baby.
There used to be these chicken nuggets in Maine that you could get at this seafood restaurant, and they were handmade by some guy, and he delivered them forever.
Yeah.
One day that guy stopped doing it, and they had to replace it with something else, and you will never, ever be able to get those chicken nuggets again. And there you go. So that's why we're on the air. Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. We will catch you guys next week.
Peace.
And, peace in the Middle East.